So, I'm filming this less than a day away from the release of the Nintendo Switch and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I'm extremely excited, as I've probably voiced many times in many videos by this point. However, I want to talk about the possibility that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild may very well surpass The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, my favorite game of all time, and a game that is hailed by many, probably more than any other game. No, it is hailed by more than any other game as the greatest game of all time. Basically, even though we don't have all the reviews yet, the embargoes are coming down, like probably by the time you see this video, that this game is surpassing Ocarina of Time, that this game is a kind of game that we were going to want to remember where we were and what we were doing, how we were when we played this game. And we're going to talk about for years down the line from now. And it's going to change things. It's going to change the way we look at video games. It's going to change the industry and shape the way games are made in the future. That's extremely exciting to think about. But people are making this claim that this game, I've heard it multiple times from multiple journalism sites already, that this game trumps Ocarina of Time, that it surpasses Ocarina of Time. Now, Ocarina of Time came out in 1998. It's not that hard to create a game that looks better, has a more intense story, a larger world, better graphics, more gameplay mechanics, all these different things. When people say that, they don't mean literally creating a game that is objectively better than Ocarina of Time. No, what they mean is creating a game that pioneers the industry in a way similar to Ocarina of Time, in terms of raising the bar, changing things, shaping the future of games in a significant way, and something that stands above all the rest of the competition by a long shot in terms of now. It's all relative. Ocarina of Time destroyed everything else out on the market at the time. Can Breath of the Wild do something similar? It's a very tall order, because games and developers have advanced so much over the years. There are many amazing games out there. The Witcher 3, Horizon just came out recently, Resident Evil 7. There's so many great games coming out all the time. Amazing, truly amazing games on much more powerful hardware. Yet, somehow it seems that Nintendo has accomplished something incredibly special. And it's incredibly exciting. But, again, how likely is it that Breath of the Wild stands so far above its competition that's amazing, that it's considered to be a more impactful game than what Ocarina of Time was? Now, like I said before, Ocarina of Time is hailed by many as the greatest game of all time. Its average aggregate scores at the time were greater than any other. It is the best reviewed game of all time. That game pioneered 3D gaming, adventure gaming, the 3D camera, centering your camera behind you, Z-targeting, targeting to multiple different enemies. That trope, that cliche, that idea where if you see a mountain in the background, you can run to it, you can get to it. That came first with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That was accomplished with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That changed so much, it pioneered 3D gaming. Even Nintendo haters, people who are biased towards Nintendo, who would never play Zelda or give it a fair shot, some of their favorite games have taken so much from Ocarina of Time and wouldn't exist without it. It's ironic, but it's true. So, Ocarina of Time is an incredible, masterful, impactful game that has done so much and accomplished so much. And it came at a time when the industry was young and still developing. In terms of 3D gaming, there's so much to do. But now we've gotten to a point where we're reaching diminishing returns, and it's becoming harder and harder, not only to make games look better, but also to innovate, to raise the bar, to change our expectations, to exceed our expectations, and create new experiences. Evolve the experiences. It's not impossible, but it's happening in smaller pieces. Think of it this way. When you play a game, and you play it for the first time and you get a high score, the second time you play it, you are very likely to beat that high score by a large margin. but the third time, you are less likely and by a much smaller margin. And so on. As time goes on, you sort of peak, and maybe at times you find ways to sort of get a little bit better, but most of the time, that's it. You can't get much better than that. And it's something similar here with video games in real life. It's gone harder and harder to innovate and really change things and make things significantly better. So even if Breath of the Wild is pretty much hitting everything, at every mark, doing everything right, and then some, and many other sums, that still wouldn't be enough to make Breath of the Wild far more impactful than what Ocarina of Time was for its time. You guys understand? It's all in terms of relativity here. Yet, that claim is being made multiple times that Breath of the Wild surpasses Ocarina of Time. But how could that be done? What could Breath of the Wild be doing that changes so much, that raises the bar by so much, that that actually happens? Well, my suspicion is this. They do call the game an open air game. And when we first heard that terminology, we just thought Nintendo was being obnoxious or, just being silly, nothing to take too seriously now. But maybe this truly is the greatest realized and immersive world we've ever seen in a video game. Not just the Zelda series, but ever. Perhaps that is what is being accomplished here. And this idea of open air is something far more open and grandiose and engaging and full of depth than a typical open world game. And perhaps that's why they're using the terminology open air. Maybe it is related to actually, elevation and, horizontal and latitude, longitude, all that good stuff. Maybe that's a part of it. And these physics engines and these different systems and how all the enemies and the AI and the nature and the weather and the people and the villages and the story and how it's all interacting together. Maybe it's all being woven together so perfectly, so well, so eloquently, that it is an incredible experience that surpasses everything by a long shot. And maybe, I do believe it's going to be an amazing game. I'm not doubting that at all. It's going to be one of the greatest games we've seen in a very long time. But can it surpass Ocarina of Time? Well, we won't know. We won't know tomorrow when we finally get our hands on it. We won't know a week from now or when we see reviews or even months from now. It's going to take years to truly know. And that's only if the game is incredibly amazing. We may realize if the game bombs or isn't that good, we may realize it very soon on. But if it is amazing, if it's truly masterful, and it really does defy expectations by so many things, and it seems like it's raising the bar and changing things and shaping games for the future, we won't truly know until we look upon this game years down the road and analyze it and talk about it. But it's extremely exciting to think that this game is going to at least challenge what Ocarina of Time accomplished for its time, and that this game may shape future games in the future and bring us that much closer to an even greater, more beautiful, more immersive world than we've ever seen before. So I hope Breath of the Wild surpasses Ocarina of Time, a game that is my favorite game of all time, my first Zelda game, something that holds a very special, dear place in my heart. That game will always be special. It will always be important. But to find something that finally surpasses it, I've been waiting for a very long time for this, and I didn't know if it was possible, but maybe it is, and maybe Breath of the Wild is the game that accomplishes it. Well, maybe we'll find out sometime down the road. Anyways, guys, I can't wait for tomorrow. Super excited. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let's talk about it. Give me your opinions in the comments below, and see you later.